The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and not necessarily those of WKTV Community Media.
Hello, West Michigan. This is Grand Tap Media Business TV. My name is Pamela Keim, your host. The spirit of the show is to introduce West Michigan to all the businesses, nonprofits, and individuals that can help us thrive in our lives. Today, we have a very special guest. He is a business owner, but he's got a unique twist to his business, and we are excited to hear more about that. I want to introduce, as my guest today, is Steve Lopez. He is the owner of Zerorez, Grand Rapids, and he's going to share today how his company impacts our community and what he's doing to help have kind of a less of a footprint in that process. Sure. All right. Thank you, Steve, for being here.
Oh.
Okay. All right. I know people don't know what your company is, what it does, but when Stephanie Kolakowski came to me, and what you do, and what was intriguing me is there are a lot of businesses that have like a nonprofit they support.
Right.
But yours is kind of a little bit different.
Yep.
It's got a huger impact, and I think that we're going to be seeing this as Stephanie has shared with me, that more and more businesses want to provide a service, and also they want to help have our thrive, keep things clean, and so we can all live in a great community.
Sure.
So share with us who you are, what's your business, and let's move on from there.
Wonderful. Well, first of all, Pam, I'd like to thank you from Zerorez and our employees, my partner Josh Clark, and myself for being here and giving us the opportunity to speak and be in front of your wonderful audience here in Michigan.
Thank you.
I also, to answer your question, I think you were asking about me and then kind of what gets me to this motivation of making business and how I do it.
Yeah, and then having that little twist of there's something a little unique.
I was born here in Southwest Michigan, so I'm a Southwest Michigan boy. I was born on a horse farm.
Oh,
my mother she was a divorcee, single mother, parent. I have all sisters. I've known nothing but women in my upbringing, honest. I've known only strong and thriving women of business and women of integrity. And they've shown me a way to think and to emphasize not only is business here for one directive, sure, to make the money that folds, but that's really so that we can create another avenue of responsibility for those business owners so they can take care of their communities with the money of change.
Right.
And I think with that kind of emphasis, it brings towards my upbringing of my aunt, who was super strong feminist in the 70s. She didn't wince. She'd stand strong against the wind, and she'd say, don't care what you say. I am for, hear me roar. And I'd laugh all the time, but I'm 5 and 6. She had diverse company. Her best friends were in diverse and different lifestyles that were adjacent to the norm. But to me, extremely normal. And also, the inclusion she had companies, and of her companies that were successful, she had one that was a food company. She made food out of her famous store. Right. I don't want to get too crazy, but she was around for 25 years with the same chefs, 2 brothers, Sean and Terry. And they cooked these meals on every day and taught other people to make this wonderful food. And my aunt was able to usher that on for 25 years in that hard business. She taught me that you had to have inclusivity, diversity, and you had to have something where you honor the integrity of your employees and have longevity and loyalty. So I learned from my mom, be tough, sit in those trenches, get up in the morning, be ready for the day. Right. I learned from my aunt, include everyone in on the purpose, because you know what? We want to be a part of everything, and we don't want to just look at life one way. And my grandmother, she kind of tied it all together, but she showed me the grace and humility it takes to run not only companies and have that kind of everlasting beat of your heartbeat toward helping your employees and your brand, but she showed me to be tireless for your community too. And so with all of that wrapped up and all of that, most of everything that comes behind what I've learned behind all of those strong women was the most important thing, I believe, clean up behind yourself. leave it better than you got it. And at the end of the day, I tie all that into why I bring Zerorez to Michigan.
Right. So let's talk about what is Zerorez. Michigan.
Well,
I know what it is,
right?
but for our viewers,
Right.
I mean, like you said, you've only been open, was it 23
23 months.
And
This is a carpet cleaning company that cleans carpets without using soaps or harsh chemicals. We use powered water and science, not gimmicks, to clean carpets safely, leaving 98.9% clean behind, meaning we clean up all the residue, hence our name,
right.
Zerorez.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute. So where did you find these chemicals, and did you do your own research on it? Where did you come up with these to clean my carpet where I'm going to be, hey, I love it?
Well, I'm so happy you asked that question because it's kind of multidimensional in a way. My partner, Josh Clark, has been in the industry here in Michigan for over 25 years.
Okay.
And he's been a technician. He's been in the trenches. So he knows all about what the traditional style of cleaning is about. Well, I was looking for something different. With my mindset, how I was brought up, I'm looking for a sustainable backbone business that pretty much has my own business philosophy of a triple bottom line business, people, planet, profit, in that order. And I like to make choices and decisions that go in a funnel. And, and if it fits with people, planet, profit, we use it. If it doesn't, we chuck it. And I'm happy with all of that because it really forms us to be honest. At the end of the day, I want a product people trust. And so I really work on having someone offer me and have something ready for me, like a Zerorez. It's a national product. It's been around for 20 years. It has its own proprietary equipment along with its own patented process.
Now, you came up with this, or is it a franchise?
It's a franchise that I'm bringing here. Comes out of Utah, comes out of the West, and it's been running for about 20 years.
Okay.
And I looked at it in Arizona. I lived out in Arizona for about 20 years. And I looked at it working in Arizona, and I said, you know, if I ever had the opportunity to go back to Michigan, I'm taking this with me. Because it has the backbone I like to do business with. Mm-hmm. I overlay that. I try to stretch out its framework and work with me to take that original concept of provability, longevity, and patentability, and then I throw over my framework of community, caring, understanding, and leaving behind better than you got it. And all of that wraps up to being aware that I can actually push the competition to be a little uncomfortable and say it can be done. Maybe it costs a little more up front, you guys, but if you're already this big, you could probably manage to kind of come this way. And I'd like to encourage our communities to kind of get together and talk to some legislation and kind of push some balls and say, hey, aloof the legislature is with the way that we deal with our wastewater on one aspect. And I've taken it upon myself, no other Zerorezes in the nation have this, but I've taken it upon myself to have a water reclamation plant where I take all of our waste, we recycle it, I put it through filters, and at the very end it goes through a PFAS filter made by Culligan at the end, goes through the drain. So we're not even putting in forever chemicals.
Well, you have that filtration.
Yeah.
I mean, is that like if I was a business owner,
Correct.
such as yourself, I mean, there's a lot of labor is the big thing, right? For cost.
For sure.
And machine, but what would that, I mean,
That'll
if I
put
was
you-
looking at you
it'll
saying,
put you
I
at-
want to
Right.
do better in the community, I don't think there's anybody that doesn't.
Of course.
You know, and as we look at everybody, you're like, don't you want, when they ask you those questions, don't you want clean water?
Right.
Of course I do,
course.
and clean air. It's just how do we get there?
Right.
And how much do we take away from, you know what I'm saying?
I totally know, Pam.
Cost.
I think it's not actually telling. I think it's showing. And I think it's showing that it can be done on the way that I can make the money to put back into the community. And like I said, I'm not in the business to make the money that folds. I'm in the business to make money to make change. Right. And I really believe that to be true in everything that I think about, and how we think about our company, and how diverse we are, and how we are inclusive, and how we like to involve people who maybe the rest of the world sees as handy-capable. I see as absolutely 100% capable. I don't see anyone outside of the realm of possibility if they want to give themselves to something they believe is a cause. And that really is all inclusive, is it not?
Okay. Well, you know, and everybody has their little. I mean, to me, it bothers me that we're all like, my cause is better than your cause.
Oh,
you know what I
God.
mean? We're into that. We're
No,
into that
no, no, no.
phrase.
I'm trying to push people into a comfort zone, not an uncovered zone. I want people to participate, not to replicate. I want us to get together and use our own ideas and our own missions to make a whole larger plan about how we can take care of our communities. Now, I don't want to create billionaires. I'd rather create millionaires.
Yeah.
Millionaires clean up behind themselves.
Pretty much, yes. I mean, I think that sometimes the more, you know, you're able to have a higher income, the more you are becoming more of aware of your environment. You want to give back. I mean, most people I hang out with, not anybody that's like, you know, I don't care.
Right.
Give
Agreed.
on what's going on. So let's talk about. All right. So you have this carpet clean,
Yeah.
and you. This is your second. How many do you have now?
This is our first venture here in Michigan. I'll have 4 or 5 stores throughout the state. I own the whole state, so I can put them up where I need.
Oh, nice.
Yep, we'll be popping them up in Detroit, Ann Arbor, Lansing, all around upper state as well.
So what's your tagline going to say? Is it going to be? Do you have like something
Yeah,
with the clean?
Zerorez, insanely clean carpets.
Well, that's very good. You know, that's pretty catchy.
Yeah, that's
right?
theirs. It's theirs.
And now, when you share this with the public,
Yeah.
what is, you know, your customers?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
What is their like, you know, wow.
Well,
you know, how do we? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You care
I
very
do.
well.
I
All
do.
right, all
Well,
right.
we've been doing it for a while, and the cool thing about our customers and what they're saying about it is, hey, you know what? You have a professional outfit. You guys know what you're doing. I have questions and concerns. You're answering them. But you're answering with words, verbs, and nouns that are educated. All of your texts have knowledge, and they come to my house. The one thing that our comments, a lot of our comments say are, you guys really know more what you can't do than what you can. And our technicians often tell you up front what they cannot do. So
We're a company that wants to provide, clean your carpet. You're a happy customer,
Yep.
and now we realize the footprint that we have in your community. And now we want to start thinking, okay, what can we do to limit, you know, like I'm saying, to just try to alleviate that,
Yeah.
or at least make it as safe as possible. Because you can't watch commercials today and knowing that what's going to be on in 20 years from now. All these commercials, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
And now, okay, so what is the difference for me when you're looking at that, when you're going to legislations? What can you say about how are they receptive, or people just kind of like, you know, because you're not big enough,
Right.
Right. And you're like, you know what, I'm gonna start small and
Exactly.
start recruiting.
Right.
Does that make sense? Other businesses that
For
can
sure.
see it. Are
1000%.
you able to do that? So share a little bit about your cause as opposed to just supporting a nonprofit. It's doing.
I get it, Pam. And, you know, thank you so much for that question, because really that's the driving force behind me. I love business. I love the position of business. I like to learn about business. I love to teach business. I love to take young entrepreneurs and show them ways. As a matter of fact, I love to inspire young female entrepreneurs and give them blueprints so they don't have many mistakes to get to the end zone of getting their businesses started. Once they get their businesses started, I want to usher in and help them with the ways of conducting their HR so they don't have loopholes or people using them along the way, and allow them to be professional from the start. And I love having my female-centric mindset, but also the balance of having the men in the places and the women in the places so we can work effectively together. With that happening, we chime a drum that just keeps beating into I think a thought pattern of a can do, and it's really truly like effective, and people really do get drawn to it, and we're trying to bring more people into our environment so that they can see a different way of doing business. I'm not saying it's new, I'm not saying it's better, I'm not saying it's the world winning, I'm not the best, you know, thing since sliced bread, but I am doing it differently, and I'm doing it consciously. And I think that's what I'd like to kind of shine a light on and say we don't need to be focused on one thing all the time. Yes, it takes our energy to make the money. Yes, we need the money to continue the process.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we have to really be concerned, more so, that what we do with the money as a result.
Are people asking you if you're an activist? Is that what you're using your mission?
You know,
what?
no, I've never heard that word. No one's ever said it. And I think because now that I'm putting verbs, words, and nouns to what I do, it may sound like I am or trying to chime a drum, but this is who I am 24 hours a day. If you're with me, I talk this way, I feel this way, I'm driven this way. I'm not always working, but when I'm playing, it's for fun. And when I'm out working, it's for work.
Yeah.
And I believe that the balance is really where it's important for me. I have 3 kids.
Oh, wow.
No,
Okay.
they're 12, 15, and 11, and you got to balance out what's important. So it's not all business, but at the end of the day, I want people today to understand what I'm about and chime in and say, there's a way of doing business. I want to show you my way. I want to expose you to things that maybe are uncomfortable. I want you to see how it's done in a professional landscape, and I want you to feel confident that the quality given is consistent.
Why did you, I'm being female myself, you know what, why did you choose to really focus your attention on female entrepreneurs and, you know, nothing that, you know, we're all out here, but I mean, female entrepreneurs as opposed to a lot of, you know, young men I know that are struggling, that don't have any kind of real leisure. Why did you choose, or is it really just you only, I want to help females? If a male came to you and like, look, Steve,
I'd love to help. I'll help.
Too,
of course. Yeah, I love and help.
They don't know everything.
Of course.
I don't know why they think they know everything. I've met so many young entrepreneurs that were male. Yeah. Right. They're like out there. I mean, I'm older, and so I've lived pretty much my life. They're just going into their, they're in their 20s, 30s. Yeah. And man, they're struggling. They're trying to figure it all out. How much is enough? How much should I put into it? They don't know very little about finance, and they've just been thrust into this world, and I feel for them.
Me too.
You know, and
I was one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so you had
it.
family, but some of these people did not come from family that were entrepreneurs. They were very much told,
fair enough,
go to college, get a corporate job, get benefits, or retirement.
And then they jumped off and they were like, oh, here. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I think I understand, I work better with, and I'm more real with the crowd of people in the same wheelhouse as my mom and my grandmother and my aunt. And when I talk to a lot of females and I want to inspire them for business, we talk more often about why and how business is and what we need to do to clean up behind business. And when I talk to men, it's a lot of talk about money. And I get it. And believe you me, I get it. If I can have enough people, and yes, of the female persuasion, if we can get enough people who are directly doing business and thinking business and talking business and being business with the blueprint that I believe we can get to be very simply understood and very directly done, I'm not going to teach anyone how to run their business, do their business, how crazy their ideas are. None of that stuff. That's all on them. They're all already great at what they do. All I'm going to do is give them kind of the playing field. With that, I believe, and really, this is really what I want. I want to encourage our female entrepreneurs, and I want to encourage our female work staff and our females who are in power to claim their value. Stand up for your value and your right for that paycheck. It's on top of that, sure, I'd love to help guys, and I'd love to be a part of their experience.
Well, yeah,
but I would. I really would. I'd love to help them.
Up with a meaning. We need to have meaning for what we do, and if you add more meaning to our, you know, a lot of guys are like, their meaning is like, you know, I want to make very good money to provide for my family.
Exactly.
Right. And women are like, you know, there's got to be more than this.
To it. Right.
I need to have why do we go? I don't know.
So,
you've been around women all the time. We always have to have something more meaning. It was our churches,
it's everything.
Community, schools.
Your family, everything.
Right. And you get to work and you don't give me a...
Well, the way, and you asked the question, can I answer what I believe might be kind of my idea about what you're saying?
Right. Yeah, sure.
Well, okay. Well, I definitely think that the female organization and the way that you look over the whole landscape is a great attribute. And it's been given to you to have multidimensionals, to look at it from multi-angles, and to make choices quickly. And people would say they're snap decisions, but in reality, all decisions are snap decisions. We all make them at one point in time. But as you're making those snap decisions, you're taking in a full plethora of environment, kids, love, sanction, fairness. A man on the other side, we do all of those things. It's not that we're not doing that, and it's not that we're different and it's, oh, they're so crazy. It's just that we're doing it in different ways for different reasons.
Right.
And we have ways during that process to also put little boxes around those reasons so that we don't have to have them blur into the next. A lot different than having them blur into the next. So I think that having a workforce working together, understanding the nature of both individuals working side by side is my specialty, and understanding how we can get accountability on both sides of the fence without objectivity and start to see the female rise in business and get paid what she needs to be paid. An example, I have a woman who was a housekeeper. She'd been doing it for 35 years. She'd been, her last job that she was working, she had had a rag in her hand since she was 13 years old. And the last job that she had run out, quit in tears, and said, I can't do it anymore, I can't do it anymore. And the most she ever made was $23,000 in her life with kids. She started with us. She's been with me for 8 months now, almost 9 months. Hold on, she's been with us now a year. Now it is a year. She's at $36,000.
She's doing the machines and everything?
And she's doing the machines, but she's also a trainer, and she's getting people in, training them for me, so I don't have to go into work every day. Right. So she's making money.
That's great.
And it's not me giving her the money. It's her earning it.
The money.
And guess the funny thing is, at the end of the day, it's me asking her, what's your value? What is your value? What are you worth? And I would tell you, you can ask any of my employees. That's a big conversation I have with every woman in there. What are you worth?
What's most of
It's interesting to say. A lot of them are quiet.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're used to it.
You aren't.
You know,
and it's a shock.
We don't know if we want to. Our worth is money, or is it community?
Exactly.
Our families.
Well, I think it's all encompassing, and I think that's why it's interesting, and what the product that I have is interesting to females and female leaders.
Right. Okay. So your cause, as I was reading this, you helped created this system so you're not able, have such a big footprint on your waste. That you're doing in
correct.
each of
our reclamation
homes, right?
plant, correct.
But is your cause to help the waterways, the
For sure.
lake? I mean,
Yes.
we all enjoy the water.
Yep.
We're surrounded by
Yep.
it, love it.
Yep.
The lakes,
Yep.
rivers,
Yep.
and stuff like that. And we grew up. At least I grew up when
Yeah.
Lake Erie was polluted.
1,000%.
Right when I went to Cedar Point back in the day.
Yeah.
Walked by
Floating
and
fish.
it was great.
Yeah.
I never saw anything like it.
Gross.
Right, and seeing it now come back.
It brings a tear to your eye.
Now, share a little bit before we end here. Is it a nonprofit you started? Is it working with people? How are people getting behind your initiative? Where you're saying this is something we need to look at? Do you have?
I do.
Okay.
And the funny thing is I've lived here most of my life. We only have 5 Great Lakes.
Yeah.
You count them, right? Not many. And you put your hand up.
Everyone is beautiful.
You put your hand up to count them, and what does it look like? It looks like Michigan.
Right.
So if we think about it all as a one unit, as opposed to like, oh, I live near this lake, by that lake, that goes into that estuary, that goes into that river, that goes into that, empties into that Great Lake. It's a system.
Right.
And the system has to be thriving and alive. My partner, Josh Clark's been fishing for his whole life. He loves to ice fish.
Right.
Ice fish is one of the most, I hate it. Won't do it. Won't stand up. I'm like, what are you, crazy? This is insane, right? To go out there and do fish in this element. Mm-hmm. He loves it. He loves it because he gets the freshest fish. They come out of the water, chilled, ready to eat, basically.
Yes.
He loves the essence of the hunt and having that right there fresh and available.
Right there.
Tastes amazing.
I don't want to do it, but
Right.
I've gone to campsites.
1,000%.
I'm like, give me trout.
I want it right fresh out of the water.
Yes,
But then, as we're doing this, with 25 years of experience, as he has been doing that traditional soap and chemical, he now is learning that, let's clean up behind ourselves, because these fish aren't going to be living here forever, and they're probably not going to be very fresh. So with all of that going on, and me being a part of the community, and me thinking about what I need to do to make my brand available to Michigan residents, how can I make it also appeal to a Michigan resident? How can I then also make it be something that we can stand behind and believe in? And that's really the package that I'm designing for Michigan. That's why I'm here, and that's why I believe in the residents, and I believe we can come together. I don't have a nonprofit, but I lead the way to bring other people together so we can start to get money churning
Right.
for our communities so that we can clean our water. Today, as a matter of fact, I'm leaving right from here. I think at 2 o'clock I have a meeting with GR Whitewater. And we're going to be talking about what we can do, how we can do it, how I can help you, and they're going to be educating me. I don't have all the answers. I like to ask more questions.
Well, and I feel like when I always tell my husband, I'm like, the only power I have, right, is what I purchase. And when people, I hear the backstory of what
Exactly.
some companies are doing, I have a choice. I'm not going to buy your product if that's the way you're going to go.
That's right.
And I have no problem saying you are allowed to, but only way I could ever counter that is to not buy your product. And that's what I feel like. There's many times I don't believe. You know what I'm saying? You
I get
don't
it.
want to not believe, but you understand.
Pam,
If we felt that.
I call it voting with your wallet.
Yes, and that's the only power I have. And I said to my husband, if I can't do that, I'm sorry. I can't go out
That's right.
and protest. And I'm not that type of person.
Just vote with your wallet.
One more step. So at least
Yeah.
I can say, well, at least I did that, right?
Right, yeah.
All right, well, how can they reach you and talk about your...
See, Zerorez, we're here in Grand Rapids, Oregon, Wyoming. We work out of our business. We're at 3530 Roger B. Chafee on Wyoming. And we also, our phone number is 616-288-4644. And you can also get us online at www.zerorezgrandrapids.com. And you can order online as well. So use our online scheduler. You can schedule 24 hours a day, and we are ready to serve Southwest Michigan.
And we're ready to clean your carpet.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, all right, we want to thank Steve Lopez
Thanks,
for
Pam.
being here. And wish everyone a fabulous day. This is Pamela Keim from Grand Tap Media, and we will see you next time. Take care, everyone.
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and not necessarily those of WKTV Community Media.